We have a very, very cool topic to discuss about today, which is live free or nothing. Together with two of our guests that brought to you down here, Dr. Adam Zubir, licensed financial planner, together with the legendary boss James, content creator. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming down here.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting.
All right. Okay, first question out of the bat. Do you guys owe anybody money?
Wow. Meo, shooting it right there. No, okay.
No. Great, okay.
Not for me, I don't know.
Undisclosed.
I can be very honest, but I owe the bank a lot of money.
Okay, but
we all owe the bank a lot of money.
But I believe that you're managing it well.
Yeah.
You know, with whatever it is that you owe and whatever it is that you're repaying back, you have a scheme through it, you have a proper schedule about it as well. So hence why the topic that we have here, again, as what Arene's mentioned, it is becoming a bit of an epidemic, honestly, when it comes to especially youngsters who are very much in debt at such early age. So just want to ask you, Doctor, off the bat, once again, what are the common mistakes then as a youngster who are prone to be having so much debt at a very young age? What is the common things that is happening around them?
Number one, I believe that most people, they spend above their means. So that's number one, especially youngsters these days. So for example, imagine someone who just graduate from universities and then they have their first job. I mean, the salary of for a fresh graduate is not that much as compared to the life that they have been living together with their parents. So for example, someone who comes from quite a middle-class family, used to eat outside, and then after they got their first check, they believe that they want to still continue living that life. So in other words, they are spending more than what they earned. That's number one. Number two, never record their expenses or never record their debt. So most youngsters these days, when I do interviews, I ask people how much debt do they have, and most of them can't really recall how much debt they have. Until they jot it down, most of them, majority of them will be surprised of, oh my God, this is how much I owe the bank or, businesses or anything like that. That's number two. And I would say last but not least is FOMO. These days, FOMO and
social media, right?
FOMO and YOLO.
FOMO and YOLO.
FOMO and YOLO, yes.
Fear of missing out, and also you only live once.
Yeah.
Why do I have to, there's this term called delayed gratification. If I can get it now, I want it now. And these days, with the current technology, it's easier for people to buy or purchase certain things because either using their credit card or these days, there's this term called buy now, pay later, which is embedded in their phone. So most online e-commerce, they utilize this concept of buy now, pay later, which in a way encourage the youngsters to buy above their means.
Right, very, very interesting, Doctor. I believe it's also societal pressure at times. Societal pressure that there's a level of standard of how you have to be. And sometimes I'm afraid to say that a lot of people have a deadline for it. I have to own a big house by the time I'm 30.
Okay.
That there's always a deadline, there's always a timeline. But do you think, I want to ask you, Doctor, do you think this setting a smart timeline for it, do you think it's bad?
It's like a double-edged sword. It can be good, it can be bad. It can be good as a way to motivate oneself to, grow in terms of their financial well-being, their career, their salary. So it's a good way to motivate someone. However, if they don't have the right kind of mindset, they don't have the right kind of, like if you can't afford certain things, for example, like buying a car. These days, I saw a lot of youngsters who wants to buy a car.
And they go straight to luxury.
Exactly, they skip a few steps. They straight away go to the top. Like I remembered my first car was an old Honda Civic. I bought it £150 when I was studying in the UK. So £150. A car.
Wow, wow.
Which is unheard of,
Which is unheard of in Malaysia, but it was like 15 years. It's an old car, but it's still usable. So I remember those are the mindset that I kept telling myself, buy things that I can afford. But these days, people are so eager to live a life that potentially the parents have been living. You know, the parents could have a better life, bigger house, better cars, and they can't really discount their lifestyle. They want to have kind of similar lifestyle. That's number one. Or number two, looking left and right, their friends are living that life.
It's about the peer pressure.
Yeah.
You being a content creator, granted you are big on the social media platform.
Right?
Everybody knows you that.
James.
He's Boss James anyway. So just wanted to ask your opinion about this. Were you ever being pressured when you were younger? You know, granted that you took over the business from your dad, it must have been a challenge, but certain expectations, it must have been difficult for you. Is it purely because that you just wanted to make sure that people around you see you as this great content creator, or how did it go in regards of spending, in regards of earning your way and making sure that you're able to sustain yourself the best that you can?
Before I started social media, when I first started the business, everyone have this mindset like, okay, you took over business, you become a businessman, you're supposed to be rich, you have the financial capability. So I was like, okay, now I have some extra money, because when you see all the money flooding in, which is revenue, not profit, so be like, okay, I have some money, I'll buy a Mercedes. But actually, after 6 months, I realized that it's very tiring. I bought an A-class 250 back in those days. I was only 23. And after 6 months, I think it's very hard, because it was 1,600 a month. I cannot really afford costs. I have a lot of overhead in the company with the existing employees and all the marketing funds going on. So it's like, never mind. So I sold the car.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I managed to sell the car with a loss of 35,000, something like that. I went back to the normal car, which is a Proton.
Okay.
I think we all have wants and drives that sometimes we make mistakes, whether or not we are ready to admit our mistakes and try to find a way to solve it. I decided to sell off the Merc and go back to a Proton, because I know instead of making people think that I'm rich and later on kena tarik, might as well settle my own issue and come back to the reality.
Right.
So I did.
Wow, that's really interesting that you shared that, because I think that is also the similar problems that people nowadays face, especially the youth, especially the youngsters, those who really just, you know, they started off in their career and, you know, they just want to go on full into, okay, I want a luxury lifestyle now, you know, and it's also the portrayal of social media as well. Now, we are going to be taking a short break before we continue on. We were just talking about some problems. We're going to continue on about, you know, how people can further live free and owe nothing.
Together with our fellow guests here, do not go away. Stay with us. We'll be back soon.
Kecemasan, boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over.
Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembika, Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here. Over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
In 2025, Malaysia opens its doors to ASEAN, a celebration of unity and culture, bringing every moment of ASEAN 2025 to you, only on RTM.
The number of malicious and false statements spread by SMS or social media platforms have become too widespread. The public is advised to be careful and not fall for such ploys and sharing or forwarding such messages. Remember that spreading fake news is an offense under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This carries the penalty of a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or up to 1 year imprisonment or both upon conviction.
Welcome back to Fresh Brew, all the freshest topic that we're brought to you down here on this glorious Sunday morning. We're still here together with our two lovely, good-looking gentlemen down here. We got Dr. Adam together with Boss James. I still cannot call you just James. I don't know why, because again, that's your TikTok name, that's your IG name.
Yeah, it's like your signature.
It's your signature.
Yeah.
It's like how shiny I am, that's how famous you are being Boss James. Okay, coming back to what we're talking about, live free, own nothing. We want to talk about debt and debt management as well. Dr. Adam, question to you is, can debt be good? Is there such thing as good debt? Because again, when you hear the word debt, it's like, oh, scary. You're going to owe people money, you're going to owe bank money. But sometimes there are good debts out there. Is that?
Yeah, of course. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Good debt here means that it's a debt that you take that in the long term, it will increase its future value or can potentially give you future income. So I give you an example. For example, like education loan. Is that a good debt or bad debt? So education loan, you know, most youngsters, they can't afford to pay for their own universities or college. So what they can do is they took a loan from the bank and then they study. And then, like me, myself, I studied medicine. It's not a cheap course.
No, it's not.
Never
It is not.
course. So, and I got the degree, and then I can work as a medical doctor, right? So to me, that's a good debt because it increased my future value and my future income in the future.
All right.
Same goes with housing loan. However, housing loan, again, you know, if you buy the wrong house, then you might be having a bad debt. However, bad debt is the debt that actually just take out money from your bank account. For example, you want to go to travel. You want to go travel, go somewhere nice, you took a debt, and then you travel, you enjoy for maybe 1 week, and you suffer the rest.
Yes.
Or one more thing is like personal loan. When you take a personal loan to get married, for example. This is one thing that I want to, let everyone know. Never took personal loan to get married.
Okay.
I see a lot of cases where people take personal loan, 50,000, 100,000 for 1 day ceremony, and then they have to suffer for the next 10 years paying off that debt.
Wow.
Some of them separated, and they still have to serve the loan.
Still have.
So, Boss James, I also want to talk about, because we're talking about good debt, bad debt, right? And you mentioned about some financial mistakes that you made in the past as well. You bought a car, you sold a car because you couldn't afford to pay it. Do you think that hindered your social media presence as a content creator? You know, a lot of people out there, when they see content creators are so rich and they have to keep up an image. You know, they have to show off their cars, their luxurious lifestyle.
Motorbikes.
Oh, in your case, motorbikes. Yes, exactly. Do you think because of this pressure, or do you think it caused a sense of pressure for you to go into, maybe you have to dive to a luxurious lifestyle perhaps?
Actually, I'm trying to lay down. For me,
tone down now.
To tone down. Because I think I have to agree with Doctor, because we want views. We want people to look at us. That's why we try to see what we can do differently from others. That's why we go for luxurious lifestyle. We go for good cars, good vehicles, big houses. But a lot of time, sustainability is very important. He did mention about the capability of serving the loan, and of course, what is the value behind you are giving. Of course, as a content creator, if you have a good vehicle, maybe it builds up your branding, maybe it helps people to notice you better, you have better views, you get jobs. A lot of times, people overspend. I mean, it's not bad to get a good vehicle, but whether or not you have a good plan to sustain the vehicle.
Right.
People usually think what they want, but they do not think how to sustain. In my situation, I would... Actually, my 6th year of business, only I bought the Range Rover.
Oh, okay.
Yes. When my customers come to me talking about motorcycles, they say, whether should I buy the vehicle on loan? I say, if the vehicle can help you drive extra income, let's say you are being a Grab driver, you are being dispatched, or you want to use it just for leisure, whether it can help you increase monetary value, then it can be a good choice. So spending is good, but what's the plan behind?
Yeah, so a lot of people, they just see the surface, right? They just see, okay, I can afford the loan of this car with my monthly salary or monthly income, and then they don't think about what comes after. The maintenance of it, perhaps, the insurance, the repairs. So those are things that I think a lot of people don't take into consideration. And of course, in line with that is what other, I would say, debts that they have. Sometimes people pay for gym memberships, you know, rental. So a lot of things that goes on with it.
Exactly, because like when you accumulate everything, as what you mentioned earlier, people tend to forget that you are outspending whatever it is that you're supposed to be saving, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to save an X percentage of amount of your paycheck, because again, if you're living from paycheck to paycheck, again, this is something that you need to be mindful of. So my last question to you, Doctor, when it comes to saving, as I mentioned, you should have somewhat of a structured saving kind of deal. So for discussion's sake, 5,000 coming in as your paycheck, what are the percentage that needs to go to your saving, to your spending, to your loans, to your car, your house, and whatnot?
General rule of thumb, ideally you want to save 20%.
20% of your saving,
20%
of your
net income. Your net income.
Okay. 20% of your income.
Ideally. But worst case scenario, get at least 10%.
Okay.
So 10% is worst case scenario, but 20% is ideal. And what's the goal here? The goal here is to accumulate enough savings for your emergencies. So as you mentioned before, for example, some people, they look at their paycheck and then they feel like, okay, I can afford to own something based from that paycheck. However, it's very vital for everyone to have at least enough emergency savings worth of 6 months, at least 6 months of their salary. So 5,000, if that's the salary, at least they need to have 30,000 in savings.
Okay.
That's general rule of thumb. No, 30,000 savings. You know, money in the bank, so that if, let's say, you fall sick, you can't work, so you can use the money from there.
Sure.
That's number one. Number two, general rule of thumb for cars, right? So cars, like me, myself, if I want to buy a car, I need to make sure that the total price of the car must be less than 1 year of my salary. For example, if 5,000 is my salary, can I afford a Range Rover? Definitely not. 5,000 times 12 is 60,000.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of cars below 60,000, definitely. But, you know, some people with a 5,000 salary, they buy cars that is much way higher than that.
Wow, okay.
And they fall into this trap. Because car is a liability. You pay the monthly installment, you have to pay for the maintenance, you have to pay for the service, you have to pay for a burst tire. I mean, it drains your money out if you don't have a plan. You know that most youngsters, they fall into this debt trap because of car loan.
Boss James, I want to come back to you, right? And I think a lot of people, maybe they have the mindset, oh, he's an established creator now, so he can buy his Range Rover, he can buy his Ferrari. But what advice would you give for some of our content creators out there, those who are striving youths, those who are, you know,
who are not as famous as you are?
Not as famous as you are. Maybe they don't earn as much as you do. What advice would you give them from your experience?
I always tell my people, especially my employees and my friends who are doing content creating, I say, have a sustainable plan. Sustainable plan is not just about money. It's about what you envision in your career. For example, you want to have a good team, you want to plan your contents 3 to 5 years down the road, or what business do you want? Once you have a good plan or like an actual vision or direction you want in your life, you can save up the money. Instead of like spending on vehicles, spending on luxurious items.
Entertainment.
Entertainment, Entertainment is one thing. Because content creators can get money very easily. I will not deny that. I will agree to that. But because we do not have the mentality, the knowledge on how to handle the right money, we tend to spend all of it. But what happens next? The money don't come every day. It's good
true.
money, agree, but it won't come every day. I may be famous now, doesn't mean I'll be famous forever.
It could be Junior Boss James in the future, you never know.
Perhaps. We have to agree that there are a lot of influencers doing much better than me right now. There are a lot, and they are very, very young. So how can you outrun the race? If you do not have the save, like what he said, if you do not have the enough of saving, what are you going to do next? You cannot be content creator for your whole life, man. What else are you going to do?
Exactly.
And if you don't have enough money to start up a business or go back to work or even sustain your life, to buy.
Yeah, but
it's like we're listening to Professor Boss James talking. This is such a contrast to his online persona, but really loving your insights on this together with Dr. Adam. Seriously, this has been quite fruitful, Erin.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I just want to say it's not in terms of just being a content creator. It's of course in any career path that you take on, it's all about how you save, live debt-free, and of course, owe nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we want at the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Adam Zubair, together with Boss James Earls, for being together here with us. Again, more respects to you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.